Hytale just got its second major update, adding a ton of new stuff, especially regarding mining and magic. But first, 84% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so just double check if you are. If you like my content, then why not? It's free, you can always change your mind later. I'm trying to hit 4,000 before the end of January, so it would really mean a lot if you did subscribe. And if you guys plan on buying Hytale or upgrading editions, consider using code CHASER. It genuinely helps out a lot. I wanted to address something that I think a lot of people aren't talking about, and I'm not entirely sure if it got patched yet or what, but in the first version of the newest pre-release, there seems to be some ore distribution issues. Unless it's intentional, I have no idea. So a member of my Discord server sent a message in chat and said, "This is from one ore vein." And he shows a picture of an unreasonable amount of copper, especially just for one ore vein. And of course, I didn't believe him, so he ended up sending a video of this entire ore vein mined out. And look at how crazy this is. So later I ended up joining his world, and this is the screenshot of what it looked like before it was mined. So honestly, I have no idea if this feature is intentional or not. I know the team was talking about fixing ore distribution around the world, and I haven't played the pre-release long enough to understand if this is like intentional or not. Let me know if you guys have seen this huge type of ore vein in your world. I mean, this is like well over 200 ore. So I'm trying to rationalize in my head if this is going to be an actual feature or if this was just a mistake. Yeah, honestly, I just thought that was super funny. Honestly, enough to compel me to make this video because it's insane. I haven't seen too many people talk about it either. The patch notes do say that there was a major ore placement refactor in all zones. So I guess technically this could be an intended feature. I'm just not entirely sure. Drop a comment down below if you think this is balanced. I mean, if it's just a copper thing or if it's just extremely rare at the very least, I think it's fine. Copper is like a pretty common material to use in a lot of things. So I'm going to be so honest, I kind of hope that this stays in the game. So at the very least, copper is definitely a lot more common. Now, putting this potential anomaly aside, I do think that every ore has larger veins one way or another. In Zone 1, obviously copper and iron are the most abundant ore, and I definitely noticed that pretty much every corner I turned, I either saw copper or iron. Especially when you get to the more lava-y areas under Zone 1, you can see that there's a lot more exposed ore. The veins are definitely bigger. Now, I'm not too sure about you guys, but thorium is always pretty common to me. Pretty much ever since I started playing Hytale on day 1, thorium has never really been an issue to find. It is pretty abundant, so I honestly couldn't tell you if there's a significant difference in the ore spawning in Zone 2. At most, the veins probably go deeper, but aside from that, I'm personally not noticing a huge difference. I can pretty much say the same for cobalt. The only big thing for cobalt is that I feel like the Zone 3 caves are massive, so trying to find cobalt on the walls may be challenging, but honestly with the new ore generation, I'm not really noticing too much of an issue. But the real interesting content changes is when it comes to Zone 4. See, a lot of people have been complaining that Zone 4 has a horrible distribution for Adamantite, and I agree. I did a stream for like 4 hours looking for it and I could barely find any. But we can see right here, this is a really small and bad Zone 4 island. But what you might notice is that there's ore veins pretty much everywhere. I mean, in old generation, I don't think I could find a Zone 4 small island like this and find pretty much any adamantite on the surface. And the update says especially underground in Zone 4, but I mean, like, look how much is on the surface. Another thing that I noticed is that if you actually go underwater on the sides of the Zone 4 islands, there's actually a decent amount of adamantite just in the water. If you just swim across the shoreline, you'll see that a lot of the adamantite's kind of just in the open. Now, I could be completely wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that adamantite could only spawn in a certain biome on the surface of Zone 4. But now, as I'm kind of going over the Zone 4 surface, I'm seeing a lot bigger adamantite veins. Like, look at how huge this is. And they seem to be a lot more common as well. In terms of ore distribution, maybe aside from the copper thing, if that's intentional, this is probably the biggest change and what people were complaining about most. If you were having a problem finding adamantite before, I don't think you're going to have too much of a problem now, especially considering with all the new methods, like you can go underground, you can swim across the shoreline, like here's some right here. There's more. Ore veins seem to be a lot deeper and definitely more frequent. So yeah, I'm honestly glad that finding adamantite on the surface of Zone 4 is a lot easier now, especially considering the fact that trying to find a Zone 4 cave entrance, at least for me, is actually kind of challenging. I do think that adamantite did have like a slight buff in underground jungle biomes. Honestly, in my opinion, I think they really need to make the normal caves a lot more common in Zone 4 because we're in spectator mode and can't even see a normal Zone 4 cave that isn't like the jungle biome. And normally when I do find adamantite, most of it's in the normal caves. So the last major mining related feature actually has something to do with pickaxes. So before, you could mine adamantite ore with any pickaxe, but now you can't mine it with a crude pickaxe, and for some strange reason, it doesn't make a noise when you try and hit it. And doesn't work with iron either. So now you can only mine adamantite with, of course, an adamantite pickaxe, which you can hear the noise, a cobalt pickaxe, or a thorium pickaxe. And obviously, you know, we can break it. But yeah, a little bit of a progression update. So now you can't just spawn in, make a crude pickaxe, and go straight to Zone 4 to get the best gear. Strangely enough, adamantite is actually the only ore that has this. So yeah, you can still mine cobalt and thorium and all the other ores with any pickaxe. It's just adamantite, which is interesting. And along with that, pickaxe mining speed scales to the pickaxe you're using. So for example, obviously the crude pickaxe is the slowest. And then we move on to the iron pickaxe. Mine's a little faster, and then of course the adamantite pickaxe one-shots. So yeah, obviously now there's even more of an incentive to go for a higher tier pickaxe, because the higher the tier the pickaxe you have, the faster you mine. So as for mining balances and changes, that's pretty much it. There are a lot of other small features that are pretty cool. Notably, we have our first real summon item, which is called the Rekindle Embers. So basically how this works is you need a pile of bones, and basically anytime you hold right click, you summon skeletons. Obviously nothing happened, and that's because there's no bones nearby. So if I were to place one pile of bones, use the Rekindle, and this guy comes to life and he fights for us, and he's gone. I think it's because I'm in creative mode. So I believe the limit here is 5 because you can only hold 5 at once. But yeah, so let's place down 5 pile of bones. And then if I use my attack key and then let go, boom, we have our skeleton army that fights for us. And it consumes the spell on use, which I'm pretty sure Simon said he's going to change later. But for now, it's okay. So these guys follow me around, which is actually so sick. Look at these guys, bro. I got my own little army. So another thing I just found out is that when you go in creative mode or the skeleton's time expires, the animation for them going away is literally them just clawing back into the ground. Check this out. Alright, so apparently it drops from this guy. He's called the Skeleton Praetorian or whatever. I don't know how to say that word. Anyways, it's a chance drop, so it's not 100% confirmed that I'm going to get it here. But hopefully we get blessed up by RNGesus. And nothing. Wait. Okay, he actually did drop it. How many does he drop? Oh, he drops 5? So I feel like this is kind of like the first step to the new magic system that we're going to get. I do really like the summoning feature. I think it's really sick. It's kind of cool because I'm pretty sure it also drops a pile of skulls, which we can just place down and then use to summon the skeletons, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's one of like the biggest features in terms of new stuff. Honestly, my favorite feature from this update, aside from that new skeleton thing, is probably being able to shift click your armor into your armor slots respectively. It's such a small feature, but it saves so much time because originally you would just have to manually drag it over, or before this was added, there actually was a feature, which is obviously still in the game, where you could right click the armor in your hotbar and you auto equip it. It was honestly my #1 requested feature, and it's going to save so much time, especially for PvP and stuff like survival games when you try and immediately put armor on like this. And you may notice that right here, there's actually 4 new icons on each of the armor slots. This is visibility, where you click this button and you can toggle the visibility, but you still get the benefits of wearing the armor. Now, honestly, I'm so shocked that they added this feature. I think it's really sick because I really always want to see my character's head whenever I'm wearing armor. So for roleplay purposes and just the overall RPG feel of Hytale, I think this is a really nice, subtle feature that they added. So those were the biggest features. Of course, there's a lot of smaller stuff that I'm not going to go into insane detail about, but notably, some mobs drop different types of hide now. Minecart rails are faster, but still buns. There's a new indicator at the bottom of your hotbar to see easier. There's a few new cosmetic options, and of course, they buffed the frogs. Most of the other stuff's just general bug fixes, so I just figured I'd talk about the most important and biggest features. If you want to check out the full list of everything on the patch notes, make sure to check the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and have a good night.